Good afternoon everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Maz and today I'm in Staverton. And in today's video I'll be trying out this Range Rover Sport SVR. A huge thank you to Marshall Jaguar Land Rover Cheltenham and Gloucester for this opportunity. So a quick overview: the Range Rover is Land Rover's more premium subdivision, originally starting off in 1970 with the original large Range Rover, which was just known as Range Rover, with the second generation, the P38, coming out in 94, the L322 coming out in 03, the L405 in 2012, and the L460 in 2022. However, this is a Range Rover Sport, which was originally launched in 2005, and this particular one in 2013. Now, that original Range Rover Sport wasn't really a Range Rover. Underneath it was still a Discovery, and it wasn't exactly the sportiest car to drive, but this second generation Sport pretty much remedied that. And of course, the third one was launched shortly after the L460. But as you can tell, this is no ordinary Range Rover Sport. This is a Range Rover Sport SVR. SV being Jaguar Land Rover's performance division. And of course, this car takes on cars such as the X5M, the GLE 63, the Audi SQ7, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, and the Maserati Levante, to name a few. And of course, this car uses the same 5-litre supercharged V8 found in the F-Type SVR. Link to that video in the description down below. So coming to the front, this is a Range Rover Sport SVR. It is also an SVR facelift, denoted by the bonnet and the slightly updated headlights. Land Rover is of course the manufacturer of this vehicle, but Range Rover is the sub-brand which takes branding priority. And recently JLR pretty much split Land Rover into 3 brands: Discovery, Defender, and of course Range Rover. And interestingly, there's a lot more SVR branding on this one than on the Jaguar SVRs. So not only do you have an SVR emblem here, you also get an SV emblem on the key fob. Now, on the Jaguar SVRs, you just get Jaguar written on them. Of course, being a luxury brand, you get a clamshell bonnet, so there are no lines interfering with the contours. These triangular-ish side intakes are distinctive to the SVR, and the headlights do this fancy dance similar to an Audi. And you also get these very distinct DRLs on not just this Sport, but on Range Rovers as a whole. Coming to the side, you get red brake calipers, distinctive to the SVR. And of course, this SVR has these massive 22-inch wheels coming around to the side. That side vent is also seen on the regular Sport. And these door mirrors are similar to Jaguars, but you do get the exact same side repeater. So if you want to put those sweeping indicators that I put on my F-Type, you can on this one as well. The doors, again, exactly the same as a Jaguar, and this high-spec one has keyless entry. Stepping back, similar to the F-Pace, which is actually smaller, there is a slight elongated silhouette, similar to an estate car, and I really like this all-black design. Coming to the back, of course, this has the facelifted tail lights. The pre-facelift would have some rounder detailing. The Range Rover emblem is darkened, and the rear wiper is hidden underneath the tailgate spoiler. Coming to the back, you get quad tips, trapezoidals, whereas the earlier car would have a round. Coming to the back, because this is a Sport, there is no split rear tailgate. But that being said, you do get a fancy load cover a retractable one as opposed to the parcel shelf you get on the F-Pace and the E-Pace. Even the carpeting feels a lot thicker on this Range Rover. And underneath you've got some extra storage, and of course this particular car does not have the spare wheel, giving you even more space underneath the boot floor. You can lower or raise the air suspension from here. Probably not that noticeable from here on camera. There's a 12-volt socket here, places to tie baggage. In fact, there's another one right here. And then press the button again to close the tailgate. And of course, here's your obligatory SVR emblem. Coming to the back, you get these performance seats on this SVR, similar to what you get in the F-Type SVR, as well as the F-Types with the performance seats. Interestingly, behind the front seats you get this rhombus design, which mirrors the internal seat pattern. And even though this is mostly Windsor leather, you do get a little bit of fake suede here. And of course you get Isofix for rear child seats. And interestingly, even the back seats have this little cutout for harnesses, as do the front. Bizarrely, there's no seat back storage on this 5-seat SUV. Now coming to the back, you do get this very nice fake suede headlining, as seen on many other JLR products. On this one it even extends onto the pillars, and of course dampened grab handles. I had to show you the doors right now because it's starting to rain, but interestingly the Range Rover Sport has its window switches on the door top. Traditionally they are somewhere down here, and interestingly you can lock and unlock from the rear as well. And of course you get the Windsor leather on the door top and on the grab handle. And this car has the Meridian sound system. Annoyingly, this car has the black piano inlay, which is known for scratching, and there is a little pocket here designed for bottles. Interestingly, the SVR is also embossed onto the headrest. Interestingly, you do get 3 seats and 3 seat belts, but the center belt, the buckle, is wrapped in leather as well. Here's the armrest. Annoyingly, the cup holders are placed vertically as opposed to horizontally, so they do get in the way of your arms, and that's all the space you have for your arms thanks to these cup holders. Personally, I would have preferred the cups to be this way round. And strangely, there's a little net here, not sure what you're going to put in there. Coming to the center console, the exact same vents seen on Jaguars, and this particular car has the rear climate control, so you get 2 dials for the rear seat passengers. There's a 12-volt socket here and 2 USBs. Coming to the front now, once again the Windsor leather extends to the doors and onto the armrest, and you get a slightly bigger door pocket, and I do like how the door releaser is integrated into the design. And of course you get memory seats in this car, and once again the window master switch is on the door top. You do get these very fancy illuminated kick plates, and this particular car has the upgraded luxury shag pile mats, and of course silver pedals. And again, this is what the performance seats look like, very similar to the F-Type, and of course they are wrapped in Windsor leather. Now coming inside, the interior in this car feels very, very high-end. It's like sitting in a VIP lounge. So first things first, let me just put the seat to my position, and of course it's all fully electric, though annoyingly they're on the seat base. Being a late car, you do get the updated infotainment system, and being an SVR, you do get SVR badges everywhere. From my point of view, there's an SVR emblem here, an SVR emblem here, an SVR emblem here, and one all the way there. Naturally, having the Windsor leather, there is also leather on the dash. And even on this centre midsection on the dashboard as well. One neat quirk of the Range Rover Sport is 2 glove boxes. That's one glove box. That is another. Being the Sport, you get this F-type style gear selector, which even has the same 2-step movement. And of course, park is a separate button. Being this later car, the drive mode selector is in this damped dial. And of course, being a Land Rover, let's just turn on the ignition for now. There we go. The center screen now pops. Now let's just turn off the AC for now. Now annoyingly, this does not have the push in and pull out system as seen on the later JLR products, so you have to press this button here to operate fan and then turn off to go into normal mode. Now annoyingly, the left hand dial turns into fan speed. That's probably a left hand drive quirk that they didn't swap over for right hand drive. The exhaust button, as opposed to being here, is over there, and if you look closely they are round tips similar to what you get in an F-Type. Coming further down, again inevitably being a Land Rover product, you get low mode, you get hill descent control, and you can choose to raise or lower the air suspension. And of course you got low range cruise control and stability control off. And I do like this metal finish on the center console. Pushing this cover reveals 2 cup holders with a slot here for what I'm assuming is for a phone, like that, and possibly this for coins. So let's close that for now and open the center. So you do get a massive center console cubby. There's even a 12-volt socket here, as well as 2 USBs. And I'm assuming this could be a biro holder. And yes, my hand goes deep in there. Now, strangely, if I close this again and open it up, you get another shelf here. Not sure what that is for. I'm assuming this particular car would have had the fridge option, which some Range Rovers do, but that does not look like a fridge to me. Here's a close-up of the front seats. Of course, there's the most important part of the seat, the SVR emblem. Looking above us now, this particular car has the Oyster headlining in fake suede, and of course the fake suede is extended onto the sun visors. Mercedes, please take note. And of course the lights light up like a dressing room. Coming to the overhead center console, this opens the sunroof, and then you press it again to go completely open. And then to close it, you just do that again. Unfortunately, it is still raining. And again to fully close it. And here is your blind. But let's keep that open for now. Fortunately, this car has the heated front windscreen. This lower center screen mainly deals with HVAC controls. So this car does have dynamic eye, so let's just put this into... So if we put this to dynamic program, it shows this really nice stretch of road. Then we can go to dynamic eye, which shows you this. That's just the system going to shut down in 3 minutes. And you can choose to individually alter what part of the car you want in dynamic mode. So you can leave the engine in comfort and then leave everything else in dynamic, for example. And Here's your lap timer, here's your G meter, and here's your throttle and brake position. Exactly what you need in your SUV. And of course, the 360 camera, which you can see a bird's eye view of the car itself. Now if we go to settings, notice that the screen is at an angle. If we go to, well, here's your brightness. You can choose to have light or dark theme, but let's leave that at auto for now, as this is not my car. And then here's your screen angle. So minus, if takes it to fully flush, plus makes it more upright, ideal for when the sun is glaring at a certain angle. Of course, you got seats here, which I'm guessing only shows up when the car is on, climate control, and, well, settings. This particular car does have a head-up display. Again, it's not the best, but it's certainly something. The SVR has bespoke dials, or digital screen in this case, and fortunately they are not touch capacitive. You still have to press them in, which I think many other car manufacturers can learn from them. Left buttons control the main infotainment, and I'm guessing the right controls the cruise control, and of course there's the heated wheel and lane keep assist. Okay, so here's the display, so let's put into info panel. You can choose what to have on the center screen as well, but I'm guessing you can only have, actually nope, you can have one dial as well, which looks like this, but let's leave it at 2 dials for now. And you do get this really nice SVR emblem, and the speedo goes all the way to 200. So that's the exterior and interior done now, so let's see what this car is like to drive. So off we go. From first impressions, this Range Rover, compared to the... That's an alarm going off. From setting off, it does feel a lot more smoother. Feels more like a luxury car than a performance car, which, to be fair, this Range Rover technically is. After all, it's a Range Rover, not a Discovery or a Defender. And speaking of Land Rover, just recently they restructured their divisions, so it's not Land Rover and Jaguar, it's now Range Rover, Discovery, Defender and Jaguar. And they've even redesigned a new badge for the overarching JLR brand. Very nice and quiet here in Staverton for a change. It sets off like a Rolls Royce. No, I haven't driven a Rolls Royce, but I have had a front seat passenger ride. And dare I say it, the way this car sets off somewhat reminds me of that Phantom I had a ride in. Interestingly, there's extra perforations on this Range Rover gear selector. On the F-Type it's a lot smaller and a lot thinner. And we're at a red light. Nope, this car does not have hold. While we're here, can we lower the car? Yes, we can. So that's its lowest setting. I can see a lot more of the road in front, and let's face it, most Range Rover drivers don't really need that much ground clearance. After all, the only ground clearance a Chelsea tractor needs is for the speed bumps. There we go, a green light. And it still feels weird that the fan speed is on the passenger dial as opposed to the driver's. We're at the Churchdown Double Mini. And we're at another set of red lights. Oh, and yes, very thick door cards, so easy to put your elbow on the door top. Normally I'm not into these Land Rover products, whether it's a Defender, Discovery or a Range Rover, but I'd say this SVR is definitely an exception. I like its Jekyll and Hyde character. Like I said, it feels like I'm sat in a VIP lounge in here, but at the same time, if I put my foot down, I can drive it like a muscle car. And the head-up display is very, very useful. I had to pull up to put the camera back on. Acceleration is so brutal that it took the camera off its mount. So, yeah. Now let's get out of 10-pin bowling. If I can. There we go. It survived those speed bumps, but they were very loud. Here we go. Tight right. And one thing I forgot to mention, when I was doing 70 on the dual carriageway, the engine revs to only 1600 RPM, which is very, very good. So let's turn right into Eastern Avenue. Does this have? Yeah, it's got 8 gears, so the same ZF found in my F-Type, so it's very, very smooth. I'd say this particular one is calibrated to be even smoother. The transition from one gear to the next is almost seamless. And there goes a Defender and an Evoque. There's lots of these Land Rover products here in Gloucester. Yep, back onto a green light. And now we're in stop-start traffic here in Eastern Avenue. This particular infotainment system doesn't beep when a camera comes, so I'm guessing that's been switched off on this particular car. The only thing missing from this stop-start ride, I'd say, is the hold assist. But other than that, it drives brilliantly. Very smooth on the deceleration. It almost feels like I'm driving a luxury car. It's almost as if I'm driving a Bentley. It is that smooth, it is that refined, it is that quiet. And that's despite the fact this is the full-fat SVR variant. And of course this is the outgoing Range Rover Sport. A new one has just come out called the L494, which I attended the dealer event of, courtesy of Jaguar Melksham, which I'll put the link in the description down below. And the SVR will be renamed the SV. So I'm looking forward to see what that car is like compared to this one. And onwards to Barton Street. Here comes a speed bump. Nothing. And another one. Again, nothing. Here comes a manhole. A bit sharp, but not harsh at all. Very uneven road surface. I can hear it, but I can't feel it. Maybe only the most extreme bumps. Oh, and of course this car has air suspension, so that's probably the main factor of its very nice ride. Another speed bump. Even the engine startup is very, very inaudible, because on some older Jaguar Land Rovers they would pretty much splutter into a start, but this one is absolutely fine. We're currently going down Eastgate Street. Oh, there's a car coming up. Very manoeuvrable. Turning is very, very easy. Little to no body roll on this tight hairpin turn. That Asda car park is a bit too busy. I'll probably end up pulling up at Triangle Way to see what the exhaust sound is like with the exhaust on. So, just pulling up into Triangle Retail Park. Even Morrison's is on the busy side. But that being said, I can just hop over to that empty corner. Seriously, the turning radius is really, really good. Really generous for this size of car. Exhaust on, window down. A bit disorientating to have the windows right there. So exhaust on, currently parked, and so even with the exhaust on, it's not a great deal different than with the exhaust off. This could be one of those later models that's usually quietened down, but that's what the exhaust sounds like even with the exhaust on. So let's turn that off and get back on the road. Okay, it sounds more interesting when on the move, but when stationary, it's very muted. And I didn't even go over 4,000 revs. So while we're here, let's put the car into dynamic mode. And remember to not press the dial down, otherwise that just puts it into auto. Put the gearbox into S mode. Now all of a sudden the startup sounds more dramatic. Well, now the speed camera beep has turned on. Strange, it didn't do it previously. Also, dynamic mode now puts a rev counter on the head-up display. What's interesting, despite being a 5-litre car, this car has been averaging 21 mpg, which is actually amazing due to the sheer size of this thing and due to how boxy its dimensions are. Let's see how well this does on the national speed limit. So, put it back into sport. Shift down. Ooh, pops and bangs. And off I go. Very fun to drive with dynamic mode on, and despite being a ZF, it changes fairly quickly. Obviously it's not as instantaneous as a dual clutch, but as far as torque converters go, bearing in mind this is the same torque converter I used to glide along Eastern Avenue, this is quite a complete package. If money were no object, this would make a great daily. At the Brockworth roundabout, setting off at gear 3, and again. that acceleration is very addictive, and I think it plays a good novelty factor due to what type of car this is. And of course, it does the job of a normal Range Rover Sport as well, along with the performance that this SVR variant gives. Another red light. This is probably the most fun I had in a car with back seats. So let's take this back to the compound and finalize this video. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching me try out this Range Rover Sport SVR. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new, ring the bell to stay up to speed, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers!